Y'all finna be mad as fuck. PlayStation just go to E3, do the PSX, and leave Nintendo Directs alone. Y'all suck. Y'all. State of play? Really? It was more like we're trying to push VR, but we still want to maintain that PS4 over everything else. How is the biggest two games gonna be Days Gone and fucking Mortal Kombat 11? But why is Mortal Kombat 11 the closer, PlayStation? Y'all must not learn shit from watching Nintendo get away with this for I don't know how many years now. But you can't because you suck at trying to copy Nintendo. You flunky every time. You haven't had a successful win from copying Nintendo ever. Let's be honest, when you did the Move controllers, you lost. Everybody called you on that shit, and even if you're on Sony's dick now, you can get off of it for 2 seconds to go, yes, they are basically Wiimotes with fucking light bulbs on them. Okay? So it should have been no surprise to me that the PlayStation State of Play should have been called PlayStation State of Emergency, because it was boring, it was dull, there was no real energy put into this shit. It looked like some shit some YouTuber could have done. Hell, I could have made a video like the one there. All they did was have a bunch of fucking CGI playback and a little bit of actual in-game footage. It was not impressive at all. And it seems like they've really hurt themselves here, because I don't really care to see the second one. I don't think anybody who, whether they be a fan or a person who doesn't give a fuck about them like myself, I mean, I'll play on it, but at the same time, now that I have Final Fantasy VII on the Switch, what the fuck do I need to turn my PS4 on? That's a whole other side thing. Anyway, here's what I'm thinking, man. I was like, alright, we're going to go into this PlayStation State of Play with an open mind. Now, I never knew anything about a Iron Man video game. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I did. I didn't. I had no clue there was an Iron Man game even being talked about. Mainly because I still haven't even played Spider-Man. So, if I'm keeping it funky, keeping it real, I was like, oh cool, an Iron Man video game? It doesn't sound too bad. The old Iron Man video game, back when the first Iron Man movie came out, wasn't all that bad from my memory. It wasn't that it wasn't that it was great. It just wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, because comic book adaptations are usually pretty okay for video games, but when you add in the fact that it's a movie adaptation, you're like, oh, this has no chance. So I remember it being okay. Excuse me. Now, what killed the hype for that game, and you can go back and you can watch the reactors reacting to this shit, and you can, instead of listening to them say, no, we didn't, that is their raw reaction. That is their main fucking reaction. When they see VR, their hype goes from here to here, almost instant. It's like it instantly killed the hype. PlayStation. Let's talk about VR, because you wanted to talk about VR. For Christ's sakes, you were talking about No Man's Sky VR. Iron Man VR, which was the first game you showed, and you had a couple other ones in there, and I didn't really care. I don't have a VR headset like most of your PlayStation 4 your family. We don't have VR. You are talking to a very, very, very small percentage of your customer base. Okay? You actually should go in and reconsider your marketing for VR. You got into VR when it was like fresh out the pussy new, because you're a company that makes this hardware, and you also have a bunch of people who make the software for your hardware, and I haven't seen hardly any of those studios utilize your VR headset, if any at all. Not only that, but the adoption rate for the headset is probably lower than that of the PS4 Pro adoption rate. I don't know if in 2019, PlayStation, I don't even know if you've managed to reach 10%. 10% of your PS4 customer base with the VR headset. I mean, I can go into detail as to why, but I don't think you have. I know that a lot of people bought it over last Black Friday to Christmas. It was on sale. I honestly think you should have a PlayStation experience, or whatever you want to call that, and be like, look, we have to get these PSVR headsets up. We need to put together a bomb-ass commercial and some heavy promotion for the VR headset, and we need to put it out there that the VR headset is not only its own thing that can be used with the PS4, but it's its own thing that enhances the experience of the PS4. And you need to really push it, because right now the PSVR is being handled a little bit too familiar when it comes to symptoms of another system. Vita, anybody? Seriously. I mean, what rumblings are that PS5 is going to have PSVR. In fact, there's going to be a PSVR 2 for the PS5. But I'm sitting here going, watching all these people not excited over anything VR, and these are your main audience people, the ones who do this YouTube thing, and the ones who really do this YouTube thing get paid for it, who have the big followings. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, can't remember the last time I seen any PlayStation VR YouTube videos promoting a VR game. Hell, even promoting the damn thing in general. I don't see that many. And I watch a bunch of those people like Dashy and Lamar Wilson and shit, so many people, man. And Run JD Run, I think is the name of that one channel. I know they all have the headset because I watched the video of them buying it and I thought it was hilarious. But I don't really see that much, talking about or playing on the VR headset. It really seemed like the VR headset at this point, Sony, was a flash in the pants, whatever that means. A flyby success that you didn't really get a grasp on. Yeah, it's still a hot thing. I just can't say it's a hot thing in the sense of it's going to bring you millions of dollars. I can't say that. In fact, if you want it to be that way, you need to take a price hit. And I mean a big price hit. Fuck what you think. I'm talking 50% off of where it's at right now. 50% off, bundled with a game of your choice. Not just you throwing a demo disc in that bitch and saying that's no, a game of your choice. Show people that, hey, you need to buy this because, one, it's extra cheap right now, and two, you can pick from a huge library of games that exist. And I'm only saying that because I'm like, I have honestly not heard a damn thing about PlayStation VR until this little state of play. I'm just saying, I can't honestly remember the last time PlayStation even pushed the VR headset in any type of way. So what you need to do, take a page out of Nintendo where they were having problems with the 3DS. Iwata himself took a pay cut and also marked the system down, and they boosted sales. People went out and they bought it because it was a cheaper price. You need to do that. You need to do exactly that. You need to make it affordable to the people. Make it affordable to the people, because the higher the cost, the more questions they ask. And once you make it affordable to the people, give them an option of a game. It doesn't matter if you give them a code for a download to any game of their choice, or if you just give them the physical of whatever the game is. If someone wants the Batman VR experience, give them the Batman VR and let them go on. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a sell. That's another one in another home. And you need that. You need that more than anything. Because the fact you had a lot of VR at this, and this was only like a 10-minute slideshow, shows that you have no idea what you're doing. When one of the biggest reveals for you should have been super exciting, turned into super disappointment, you know you're doing something wrong. PlayStation, I really wanted you to be on top of your game, ready to come in and just shake shit up when it comes to this gaming community. I was like, come on with it, man. Bring it. Just fucking slam all over everybody. Show them why you're not going to E3. Explain why that's a good thing. Explain what's going on. VR game, VR game, VR game, VR game, VR game. VR game loses hype because it's a VR game. Days Gone isn't even the closing game to our own shit. Mortal Kombat, for some reason, PlayStation, you put at a higher plateau than your own first-party IPs. Name one direct where Nintendo did that. Name one. You can't, because if there's a fucking Nintendo Switch first-party game coming out, it gets top priority. It gets the best spot, and they put the most into it. Imagine Nintendo saying, "Oh, Smash Bros is coming out," but then they go and they're like, "Hey, so Fortnite, why are we talking about Fortnite on a system that it's on everything about, bitch? You need to talk about Smash Bros." That's what it's like. Why talk about Mortal Kombat 11 when it's gonna be on everything? Talk about Days Gone after Mortal Kombat. I don't care how much money they're giving you to talk about Mortal Kombat. You put your first party IPs first. That whole fucking 10 minutes, y'all wasted so many people's time. Y'all wasted so many people's hopes and energies. Sony, get it together or get the fuck out. I don't know which one's worse. The fuckery with you never ends.